job to do. In fact, it might be the most important job in the history of the world.
So what would you do if suddenly the weight of the world landed squarely on your shoulders? That is the premise of the new apocalyptic thriller from M. Night Shyamalan. It's called Knock at the Cabin, and Eli has seen it. He's here on our regular Friday get-together to tell us all about it. Let me tell you what comes to mind for me when I think M. Night Shyamalan. I don't need words. It's kind of like...
exactly.
Like, I just don't even, I can't even look half the time. How about you?
Shyamalan is in rarefied company in that he's one of those few directors where when you hear that name and instantly you have expectations. Like there's Scorsese, there's Gerwig, there's Cronenberg, and Shyamalan. And I think for Shyamalan, it's all about the writing and the twist and the suspense, right? He has built his career starting with remarkable success of The Sixth Sense, of playing with and exceeding and subverting our expectations. So that for me is Shyamalan. That's what happens. You kind of just prepare yourself, hold on, get cozy, and see what happens.
Pillow over face. Okay, so if that is the premise, and we've come to know that over the years, as you say, particularly at Sixth Sense, where does Knock at the Cabin fit in, Eli?
So it's interesting because this is actually based on a novel, so not original material, so a little different for him, but a very Shyamalanian setting in that you have just a few characters, this incredible predicament, and certainly no lack of suspense. So we start off beautiful woods location. We're in the woods with Wen. She's this adorable, precocious little 8-year-old. She's the adopted daughter of a gay couple. She's catching grasshoppers. How innocent. So there she is. Dads, Eric and Andrew are out on the back deck. Everything's great. But then this big guy steps out of the woods. Take a look.
My name's Leonard. Well, it's nice to meet you, Wen. I suppose I'm here to make friends with you. And your dad's too. But my heart is broken.
Why is it broken?
Because of what I have to do today.
Young girl playing Wen, first-time actor, really remarkable. Now, Wen is no dummy. She sees what's happening. She bolts back to the cabin. She drags her dads off the deck. They're having a little wine and cheese party because they now see not just one, but 4 people approaching with homemade medieval weapons. That is not good. There's a nurse, there's a cook, there's a blue-collar worker, and Leonard, a grade 2 teacher. But this isn't career day. They have a horrible ultimatum to deliver to the dads, who, as you can see, will become prisoners. Let's take another look.
The 4 of us are here to prevent the apocalypse. Your family has been chosen to make a horrible decision. If you fail to choose, the world will end.
They say they found each other. They say, Heather, that they had visions of horrible disasters to come. And they say that the only way to stop the end of the world as we know it is one of those 3 people must kill the other willingly. Now, the parents are Andrew and Eric, and they are deeply in love. Eric is a little more of the empathy guy. Even though he's been concussed from a battle with one of the captors, he's still trying to reach out, like, let's talk about this. Let me kind of build a bridge. We can understand this. We can work through this. Andrew is a lawyer. He has a different approach. Take a look.
We're not choosing anyone. We're not sacrificing anyone. Not now, not ever.
Even if it means the death of everyone else in the world.
Yes. Even if I believe the world was at stake, which I don't, that's what it means.
I'm just opening my eyes now because I have another question for you. Can I? Is it safe? Is it safe to
open
my eyes?
It's all right.
Okay. The talent there in that scene, well, in all of the excerpts we've seen and through the movie, who stands out to you, Eli?
You know, it's actually a pretty good cast. Harry Potter fans might be surprised to see the blue-collar worker is actually Rupert Grint, Ron Weasley, of course. Jonathan Groff, you might know him as King George from Hamilton. He plays Eric, but we have to talk about Dave Bautista, because I think Bautista is having a moment. You saw him in The Glass Onion, you see him here, and it's interesting because he started, I think, almost as a novelty, right? He was another wrestler turned actor. Yes, he's been Drax in Guardians of the Galaxy. I remember reviewing him in some not-so-great action films like My Spy, where he was running around with this little girl, kind of a covert action thriller. But if you remember what he did in the opening of Blade Runner 2049, we saw this promise of potential. And yes, he has the mass and the muscle. He's got that round head and this kind of circus strongman body. But then he also has this gravitas. And when he speaks, sometimes it's so soft. It's just a whisper, and it's, I think, a very effective combination. It's like a fist wrapped in velvet. Now, with these captors, there is this contradiction. They have this horrible choice they're trying to force, but they also need to convince Andrew and Eric. They have to do it willingly. Now, Andrew and Eric, they're deeply in love. They say always together. Eric's starting to waver. Take a look.
Do you really think that everything that happened today, everything we've seen, do you really think it's all just a coincidence?
Yes. I think it's all coincidence. Some horrible, unexplainable coincidence.
And the longer it goes, the more unexplainable those coincidences become.
So is it worth a weekend trip to this cabin, Eli?
You know, in this movie, I felt like there's more prisoners than just the people in the cabin. In the beginning, it is the audience, because that tension is so exquisite. Shyamalan is so great at kind of setting that up and building the pressure, the setting. There's nowhere to go, no one to run for help, just those rooms and this rising body count as Bautista's face fills the screen. But the other prisoner here is M. Night Shyamalan, shackled to his own reputation with so many ludicrous elements. You can't help but looking for the twist. The setup seems so preposterous. So it's the kind of story where you start to get ahead of it, trying to kind of sneak around the corner. Is it about a gay couple who've been targeted and weathered intolerance? Is it a religious parable about blind faith and 4 horsemen and accepting the impossible? Is it about faith in your family, or none of the above? In the end, Heather, it is an equation, right? There is the pressure, there is the build-up, and then there's the payoff. And here, although the exquisite pressure is there, I'm not quite sure the payoff is enough. 3 stars out of 5.
Okay, not bad still. Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
And by the way, see you Monday.
Yes.
See you Monday. Grammy Awards Sunday.
It'll be a big
Eli's
show.
back with the winners on Monday morning. Thanks, and see you then.